Well, Mike Vrabel knows all about the Rowdy friends here. Titans head coach was the defensive coordinator for the Texans a year ago. Now in the midst of an AFC South that has seen the preseason pick the Jaguars completely unravel. The Colts are playing great. Titans need to keep pace in the AFC playoff race. And there's his good friend, Bill O'Brien, and his team in position to claim the division. They get Indy in a couple weeks. 7 straight wins for the Texans, to which the tough New Englander O'Brien says, we haven't done a thing. The Texans won the toss. They defer. The Titans will receive. Fairbairn boots it through the end zone. And here is the 2014 Heisman winner, Marcus Mariota, says this game on this night means a little more.
I think anytime you have an opportunity to play Monday night, it is a special event. When it comes down to it, you walk out of the stadium, kind of peek it, kind of feel the intensity, feel the vibe of the day. And from there, you just got to move on and play the game.
I had a good visit with Marcus. We said, hey, what's the next step for you? He says, being consistent. He paused and he said, and also as a team, they have been wildly inconsistent this year. He's going to go to Smith, his tight end, who they've been working in a little bit more.
Yeah, Jonnu Smith. You know, he had a couple touchdowns back-to-back weeks. He's a guy they want to get involved. He's taken over Delaney Walker. That's a spot they like to use him. He was the leading receiver for this offense. But Marcus just needs to do it from inside the pocket, get control of it. He showed it there for a couple weeks back in Dallas, going on the road, and then doing it to New England at home.
Guys, something to pay attention to. Jadeveon Clowney. Notice where he's lining up. Right now he's at linebacker. He's picking the matchup he wants, and he's coming.
There he is, sneaking into that A-gap hook. As he gets met by Jones, Mariota will get it complete to Corey Davis.
Well, that's exactly what you want to see from your own quarterback. Coming off the injury, had the stinger. They're in 12 personnel, going backside with the tight end, staying inside the pocket, play action. And him and his guy, Corey Davis, who's really coming into his own in his second year, Joe.
He's a number 5 overall pick in the 2017 draft. 19-yard reception to get his night started. Mariota to pass again, looking downfield. And that should have been intercepted by Justin Reed. A flag is down. As Davis was the intended target of Mariota's.
Pass interference, defense, number 20. The ball we placed in the spot of the foul, automatic. First down.
Craig Rolstad, our crew chief tonight. We got 4 different officials on this crew who have worked Super Bowls.
You know, usually what happens on an underthrown ball like that, the defender doesn't get his head around. But Reed did. He just kind of pushed off when he didn't have to there.
So it goes for a 33-yard penalty on this opening drive. Here's Lewis as he tried that jump cut to get away from Clowney, and he goes for 2. All right, take us through this offense. They got Lewan and Conklin, the bookend tackles.
Yeah, and Conklin, this is just his second time going against J.J. Watt. Tough battle. The reason why they drafted him in the first round, because they thought he needed to be the guy that can protect that side of the ball.
2nd and 8, Mariota. Here's Lewis trying to shake and bake, but couldn't get past Zach Cunningham. His second year out of Vanderbilt. He's very good in space.
He is. That's why they drafted him here, because, you know, these linebackers, Romeo likes these big physical inside linebackers, but he's one that can get in space and he can cover really well. He's a good athlete. Now you got 3rd down.
Romeo Crennel, the 71-year-old defensive coordinator, the oldest coordinator or head coach in the NFL currently. 3rd down and 9.
And on 3rd down, Tennessee's got to block 90 and 99. If they do, they like their matchups downfield.
as he goes short of the sticks to Firkser.
And Matthew comes in there. He's the starting safety. We talked about him earlier. And now he comes in. He plays linebacker. And this part of the area is dime personnel. He comes in. He's got really good feel, not only on the back end as a safety, but the sticks, knowing where the first down marker is. Good adjustment, making him throw it short and then rallying and tackling.
Ryan Succop is 11 of 12 inside of 40. This from 31. And it'll go as an opening drive field goal for the Titans, thanks to that 33-yard pass interference. Dean Pease, the Titans defensive coordinator. It's great to see him back to work. He left last week's game, had a medical issue, was in a hospital in Indianapolis, returned to practice this week. We had a visit with him yesterday. Pretty scary, the circumstances surrounding us. But we did get a chuckle from Dean. He said, my doctor said, avoid stress.
Yeah, and he said, and I got to go against Deshaun Watson. That's a little bit easier said than done. I don't think the stress is going to go away anytime soon. Guy's been doing it for 46 years.
Yeah, but him being back definitely brings a comfort to this defense. You could tell last week when Dean wasn't there, they was a little bit out of whack. Now that he's back, this Tennessee Titans defense feels a little bit more comfortable.
They had to figure things out on the fly in the midst of the game. Of course, Mike Vrabel experienced as a defensive coordinator, so he started calling the defensive plays, but a little bit of an adjustment, and visited with Wesley Woodyard and Logan Ryan. They talked about Dean Pease's absence and how it impacted them last week. And this will go for the touchback, as Deshaun Watson will make his 17th career start. Now this win streak has him smiling, folks.
Winning 7 in a row, that's something incredible. Being young and being new to this league, every game is big to me. The heart, the guts, the will, the determination, that's my mentality.
Bill O'Brien, look at that quote from Bill O'Brien. He says, obviously, we got to keep him healthy. He's our only hope. But he says he's one of the best players I've ever coached. O'Brien spent time with Tom Brady. And think about who he's coaching defensively. He thinks so highly of Deshaun Watson, just 23 years old. As he gets it out quickly to Ryan Griffin. Goes for 5 yards there.
Well, that's one of the things you're going to do to keep him upright and healthy is get in empty and get the ball out quick. He has a fast release. He can make a lot of plays. The risk versus the reward, that's going to be important tonight for him.
Here's Lamar Miller, as he will test that left side, and he'll leave them with a 3rd and short. So he goes for a couple of yards. 5th season for Bill O'Brien here with the Texans. The 49-year-old originating from Massachusetts. 1-2 mark in the playoffs. Third down and 2. As Watson under pressure, and he goes down. As closing in on him was Jayon Brown. That's now 5.5 sacks, as well as Benny Logan getting involved.
You know, 3rd down is always going to be the critical down, guys. Dean Pease and his defense, they like to show a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. And for Watson, he's got to be able to decipher which one is coming and allow his offensive lineman to block him. That time they couldn't do it. Watson bailed a little early.
That means the rookie Trevor Daniel will be punting away to Adoree Jackson as he turns this ball over and drives it inside the 30. And here is Adoree, and he is met hard by the coverage unit there. Coming downfield was Peter Kalambayi. Mariota in that offense back out there when we return. What a blast that was. Not often you have a head coach who was a first-team All-Pro as a player. He's the former defensive coordinator, as Mike Vrabel, the 2 guys there, J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. And he's had a lot to say about this matchup, including, hey man, let's go right at him. Well, there is Clowney going right off Mariota, and Derrick Henry on the pitch. with a good gainer. Well, you know what it's like to go up against Watt and Clowney. What?
Yeah, played against both of them a lot. You know, it's a full day's work. You know, you better pack your lunch pail when you're going against them. Different in their approach. Both physical, they're long, they're athletic, they're imposing guys. But Clowney, his get-off, his first 2 steps, he's known for that play in college. And then J.J. Watt, he just has such good feel. The thing to watch tonight is the freedom that these two have. They can go wherever they want on the field, and they play to their instincts.
Well, Book pointed out earlier where Clowney was lined up. Now the bottom of your screen coming off that 7 technique as they get it complete to Smith. And look at Jonnu Smith all the way inside the 10 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. A 61-yard touchdown for Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, well, he's just chipping to help get the protection started, and then he sneaks out. And I think Matthew ends up there. Here's Jonnu, who's going to chip on the outside and then leak on for a little check down. And Mariota sees it after the chip. He goes right there. You see Matthew in the back end. He goes to double Davis. Looks like there was a busted coverage. Mario sees it, and he capitalizes.
All the production that they lost with Delanie Walker, a sensational veteran tight end who's out injured for the season. And now look at the recent games of Jonnu Smith. A career-long reception, 61-yard touchdown, and Tennessee is up 10-0. Tonight we're going to take a look at the beautiful city of Houston in this exclusive break featuring nighttime photos, all captured with the new Google Pixel 3. Back here on Monday Night Football as we check out these photos of Houston. They're captured using Night Sight with the Google Pixel 3 camera. We thank Google for sharing those photos with us and also helping us get back to this game a little bit early, a game that now has the 5-5 Titans up 10-0 on the Texans, who come in with that 7-game win streak. There is Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, who just saw Jonnu Smith streaking down the middle for 61 yards in the score.
Yeah, well, he just missed the coverage. He's coming down to play Jonnu Smith, but Jonnu blocks. You see him come down, and then as soon as he sees him block, he bails to go double Davis on the outside. And that's a missed opportunity, blown assignment, and the Titans take advantage of it.
You know, one of the things they like with Matthew, he has the freedom. Normally, when your guy would block, you would stay on him. But because they trust him and give him freedom, they allow him to go off and double. Nice little wrinkle there by the Titans. When you play each other twice a year, you understand what each other does, and they took advantage of a roaming Tyrann Mathieu.
It was Mariota's longest completion of the season.
If you're the Texans, you got to adjust on defense because you got to say, make them go the hard way. They got to earn it.
Right.
Marcus hasn't shown that consistency over the course of this season to say, hey, we're going to go double somebody. Just do your job, your responsibility. That's going to be critical for them to adjust.
Here's DeAndre Carter on the return. Ball comes out. And there's a fight for it underneath. It looked like A.J. Moore of the Texans was able to jump on it. Well, it was Will Compton of the Titans who forced that fumble, ripping it away from DeAndre Carter. He was claimed off waivers from the Eagles, was Carter, and put into action as the return man. And indeed, it is A.J. Moore who's able to recover it.
He's trying to put 2 hands on it. Just a nice job there by Compton, being aggressive on special teams, trying to make a play. And if you're the Texans, hey, just calm down. You're down 10-0 on this 7-game win streak. You're used to getting off to good starts. Hey, so be it. Not a good start tonight. Time to regroup and just play football from here on out.
But it says a lot about Mike Vrabel's team. They went on the road, had a tough loss against Indianapolis. This is the response he wanted to see from his young football team.
Play action as Watson able to get away, and then he'll just slide ahead for a gain of 1. Well, up front, this Houston offense was worried about Fulton and Clemente being healthy enough, but they are a go at both guard positions this week.
Yeah, Nick Martin's the leader up front, the center. At offensive line, they're going to have to play better than what they've seen. But the guy for this offense is DeAndre Hopkins. The Titans know about him. He had over 100 yards in the first meeting. He is a stud, and he is Watson's favorite target.
He's also a guy who never really leaves the field. Good run by Miller. Lamar Miller goes ahead for 21.
Well, they're just going to run the wide zone going this way on the backside, and he just sees this cut. That's the power of the zone game. Miller's a veteran back. He feels it. Arapaho, the veteran, he's just got to come down the line.
And that's the power of a mobile quarterback. Arapaho is trying to play Watson just in case he pulls it, but you got to close and take away the run first.
Now Miller and Alfred Blue both in the backfield together here on first down. And pointing at movement up front. Play clock now down under 5. It'll be Miller again. Not much there at all as Derek Morgan made the tackle. He missed time recently with a shoulder injury. Look, that Titans defense up front is all about Jarrell Casey, though, isn't it?
Well, Casey's the man up front. It's a 3-4 defense. They don't have great one-on-one pass rushers, so on third down, it's the illusion of the blitz. They're going to bring the blitz from everywhere. Watson has to decipher, because if they can't, the corners on the back end, Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan, and Malcolm Butler haven't held up well.
Miller again probing and then able to get out the left side for another first down. 12 more yards for Lamar Miller.
Well, this is a pro-style offense, what they do, Bill O'Brien. And in that, with a spread quarterback, with Deshaun Watson, and the perfect fit, the mix, is being able to run the football, because everything you want, the play action off of it, is great. But you got to establish the running game first. It's a good start for the Texans to respond this way.
Sure is. And a 10-0 hole early on here. And Miller now gassing as he dives ahead inside the 15, down to the 12.
Well, they just pull their right guard, Fulton, on the outside, and he comes right in behind it. Miller, it's the one-gap power play. They like to do it with it. Fulton kicks out, creates a lane. He has a mixture, Bill O'Brien does, of the wide zone, helping his offensive line so they don't have to be on man blocks, and then coming back with the gap scheme, doing a number of different ways, getting results like that.
Watson thought about throwing to the left and then is taken down hard right at the line of scrimmage that time by Kenny Vaccaro.
And that's the first run-pass option we've seen tonight. And Watson's added that. You know, Bill O'Brien said, we want to get Hopkins the ball a number of different ways. He's the #1 weapon. You know, what he does in the red zone. The problem tonight is one of these other guys are going to have to step up, because the Titans, Dean Pease, they know who he is. They're going to roll coverage to him, double teams, just like you're seeing here. Butler's going to play up tight, and then behind it, Byard's going to be there to put 2 guys on him.
2nd and 10 to the end zone. He goes, and touchdown Texans, D.T. Demaryius Thomas.
And that's exactly why you bring this guy in, Demaryius Thomas, because he gets a one-on-one on Adoree Jackson. Inside leverage, he's a veteran player. Maybe doesn't have the speed he once did, but he can make plays. You see Hopkins drawing the double coverage, and you need that other guy. Will Fuller was that early in the year, deep speed. Thomas doesn't bring that speed, but he brings a veteran presence and understands the system, and it's for plays like that.
Long-time Broncos star. Left Denver ranked #3 in franchise history in receptions, and off to a good start here tonight with his new team. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL. Oh, that brisket looks so good right there. Were you a full turkey guy on Thanksgiving?
Oh,
or did
yeah.
you go in another direction?
No, full turkey, but
okay, Boog?
that brisket there, boy. We put some of that back, didn't we, Bass?
Hey, I'm all about the honey baked ham. I love the turkey, but the honey baked ham is where I go.
Listen, I get the turkey as a nice ornamental garnish to say you had Thanksgiving, but give me that nice New York prime roast that's coming out of the pizza oven, brother.
Wow.
But that brisket looked mighty good, didn't it? Another guy who looked pretty good moments ago, Deshaun Watson. He's wearing the Monday Night Mike.
Set.
Touchdown to Thomas for Deshaun Watson. 19 touchdown passes on the year. Derrick Henry now in the backfield with Mariota. Mariota downfield and complete again to Corey Davis.
Well, his anticipation right now, you know, I said earlier we saw it firsthand in Dallas, but it's off the zone read. And I think Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, see how he throws him open. Earlier in the year, he was waiting. Davis is getting more confidence, running his routes. And that ball's coming out, 17 yards on the sideline, exactly how it's supposed to be in pro football.
Starting to really deliver as the highest drafted wide receiver in the history of the franchise. Number 5 overall. Not much there for Henry. He's brought down by Cunningham. Look, let's take a closer look at that Texans defense.
It's one of the better front sevens in football, and it's led by number 90, Jadeveon Clowney, and number 99, J.J. Watt. They'll get after your quarterback and they'll slam the run. And on the back end, the guy who's brought the attitude to this defense is Tyrann Mathieu. This defense can be as good as they want to be. They just have to play their responsibilities and do their job.
Second and 9. Deion Lewis, as J.J. Watt was able to get into the backfield. A 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
And that's what you want to do. Watch J.J. Watt. I call him Justin James. Look at the swim move there. Sometimes he'll come around blocks, but he has the freedom in this defense to make plays. That's why he's been a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
And that's why he's so hard to block. I can tell you from experience that he forces you to hesitate because you don't know if he's going to play backdoor or play front side, just like that. And then you're cautious. And offensive linemen, tight ends, you do not want to play that way on a big imposing man like him.
Topside defensive end there as there was movement opposite Smith. Everybody pointing to Jadeveon Clowney.
Ball start. Offense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
And that's why there was movement. The guy opposite him in Taylor Lewan. You say you have firsthand experience? Show us.
Oh, you guys brought some film there. They're going to double team. My man, Tyron Smith, we're trying to get a double team.
I mean, he got you there, Whit.
No, and then there's a move. It's a little swim move on the backside. and you think he's going to play to the inside, and right when you go to play cut off, he just swims you right away. And when he does it, there's no turning back.
I thought you could block it,
Do the demo without the bruising, please.
He goes to the swim move, and for big guys like that, you don't see it often. A lot of times they go to the rip because they don't want to expose themselves inside, but he's so strong. He does it to tight ends, as you just saw, and of course he'll do it to offensive linemen.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
A sloppy moment there on the 3rd and long.
I'm just curious, Whit, did you ever block him? I mean, based on that film, I couldn't tell.
I think the last time we played, we won, you know, so. And the challenge when you're going against him is you really don't want to run away from him because he's so good on the backside.
Right.
Some of the best players, when you go against them, you want to run right at him. Put the double teams on him and make him have to earn it on that front line. And his versatility, now he goes and he plays the end in a nickel situation when he gets on the outside. He has the speed to capture the edge.
And there's Clowney moving around as he comes right up the A-gap, forcing them to check down and dump it down to Lewis. As Mathieu was there waiting on Deion Lewis. That was a good defensive effort on that series from Romeo Crennel's unit.
It's a good stop for this Houston D. You know, the secondary, first drive, they had a 33-yard penalty. Second drive, they blow the coverage with Mathieu for the touchdown. Their offense bails them out, get a big touchdown on the following drive. Good to get a stop, get a little momentum.
As Carter fields Kern's punt and then shakes free. and finds a seam, and a good return out past the 35. So some momentum now for the Texans, and Deshaun Watson, he's had a little bit of a wild rodeo ride to start his career. He's played 16 games, missed 9. So as for those 16, well, look at the marks. 10-6 record, 4,100 passing yards, a 102.2 passer rating. Folks, in NFL history, the only other quarterbacks with 10-plus wins, 4,000-plus yards, 100-plus passer rating in their first 16 starts, Marino and Warner. That's the company that Deshaun Watson is in when you just go with the 16 starts. As Alfred Blue able to get some work here. Goes for about 3 yards there.
You know, Tess, you talk about Deshaun Watson. He's different than most mobile quarterbacks. We think about the mobile QB wanting to get outside the pocket and run. Watson wants to get out and extend plays and throw the football. That's why I think he's different, and his trajectory is a little bit higher right now than Marcus Mariota.
You consider everything he's been through just this year alone. Working his way back from the knee injury. Here on 2nd and 6. Wide open and into the hands of Nuke Hopkins.
Well, it's the play action, keeping him inside the pocket. And to your guys' point, his ability to get the play fake, to have the running game in a clean pocket. He's an accurate thrower. He puts nice touch on the ball, and Hopkins. This guy plays almost every snap, Tess. He's always on the field. He fights for those balls.
Literally almost every snap, as Blue can't find much. 99.5% of offensive snaps. You marvel at that.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know, I used to pride myself as a player that I didn't want to come off the field.
Right.
You know, and it's not just that you want to capitalize on every ball thrown. Certainly receivers and tight ends want that. But it's just the competitive mindset. You want to make play after play. And the reason why I marvel at it is the big plays down the field.
As Thomas hurdles a man and goes ahead for a first down right over Kenny Vaccaro for 12 yards.
You know, it's one of the things that Demaryius Thomas does well. He did it in Denver. Now he's doing it here. The screen pass. He's big, may not be fast, but his big body allows him to get those yards. Nice block out front by Thomas.
Came in with only 3 catches as a Houston Texan. But already the touchdown catch tonight. Entertaining first quarter here on Monday Night Football. You know, it's not Goff Mahomes we had last week, but it's pretty good so far tonight, isn't it, with Mariota and Watson, as we don't have an incompletion thrown yet tonight.
That's a pretty good start.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Glad you're with us here. Monday Night Football in Houston. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, and Lisa Salters. He's got the stash working, does Marcus Mariota.
I was wondering if somebody was going to mention that.
November.
There's a charity effort behind that, as is often the case with Mariota, and is often the case with Watson. Good work with the legs. Big moment, big play, touchdown, Deshaun Watson.
What a great call by Bill O'Brien on there to run the zone read and then to keep it. But the thing that separated it was his lead blocker, Ryan Griffin, coming across, putting him on the edge. So they fake it inside. Arapaho goes to the dive, and now he's got a lead blocker taking him all the way through. Right here, when he keeps it, he's got Griffin in space. You don't want to put him on the edge without a blocker. And that's why he put Griffin on the outside, coming back across. Good play.
And think about this, Whit. If you remember the play early in the game where Arapaho was trying to close down. So now, once he closes down, now he's saying, I got to get the run. You bring the lead blocker out front. Now Watson is basically a running back at that point, and he has protection. Nice job by O'Brien protecting his quarterback, but also taking advantage of Arapaho from an earlier play.
Yeah, and think about that scheme earlier. We're talking about on the zone, the wide zone. He's got to come down and make that tackle when he cuts back, when Miller cuts back. And now you're saying, don't come down. It's hard when they have these wrinkles. And that's the chess match of a divisional opponent. That's why these games are so critical.
You know, I love visiting with Watson the other day and him detailing what happened with the punctured lung and the injured rib in week 5, because, you know, people may not realize the pain he was playing with. That happened week 5. And then week 7, they're at Jacksonville, and he was not clear to fly. So with the punctured lung that he was dealing with, healing that, the injured rib, he made an 800-mile bus trip from Houston to Jacksonville to play in that game. They won that 20-7.
Well, it just shows his toughness. You know, I mean, what he's all about. And that, your teammates rally behind that. They see that. They know what you're all about. That's impressive.
Well, here's what that touchdown reaction sounded like with the Monday Night Mike on Watson.
This is it.
Here, Jordan Thomas, his rookie tight end, saying, give me that, give me that. I'll tell you, Thomas had a nice crack block to seal things, too. Had Griffin out in front of him, and Watson with that speed right in, and just like that, Houston goes from down 10 to up 4. And now Mariota, as he's going to slide down before Joseph could get to him.
You know, one of the things to watch tonight is the cat and mouse, where Jadeveon Clowney is going to line up. He's at right defensive end. Now you say, you know what? I'll put his hand down and play the same position. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go to the other side and stand up at left defensive end. But where he's multiple, he can line up and stand up at middle linebacker. And when he does, he's picking the weakest link, and he's taking advantage of it, trying to get pressure in the middle of your offense.
And he's so long, Bug. When you go against him, you think you want to get on him. His arms, and he's so explosive, he knocks you back right away.
And go with the end around here with Davis as he reverses field, and still with a blocker in front, Corey Davis. All the way inside the 35, a 39-yard run.
But knowing that he's so good, sometimes you got to run it against him. He's going to come down the line. The chess match that you talk about, he's got the edge. The Wildcat, they run it every time. Except that one. They flip it to Davis. You have to play it against them. They're so aggressive, and they're so instinctive that you have to play their strengths against them in that moment. You know he's going to come down the line, and then a big play to capitalize.
Well, and this is about game planning. Go back to the first matchup, and Mike Vrabel put the Wildcat in.
It's Tajay Sharp who's down as the medical staff is tending to him, and we'll take a short break with that. Now this is the AFC playoff picture here. Of course, see the Texans leading the South, but you look at that group with the wild card, with the Ravens sitting there at 6-5, the Colts having a great year with Luck's return, and you see how important this is for the Titans at that 5-5 plateau to get to that 6th win, to stay in contention for the division, and to keep pace with things. Yeah. Hey, by the way, what do you make of the Chargers? Chargers at 8-3 playing great ball.
Yeah, and Phillip Rivers, one incompletion on the game, you know, and that's so like him. Shoot, if I could have that one play back. And he's playing at a high level. And, you know, all the talk about the Chiefs, they're just one game back.
Kind of one of those teams playing opening weekend. Maybe the 2 best records in the AFC when all is said and done. Mariota able to get free and then is forced to slide down as he had Cunningham waiting on him.
It's so important when these matchups, when you've seen it play out, the self-scout. Divisional opponents, you go back and you really have to scout yourself, because each team knows your tendencies. And you got to use your tendency against your opponent, and that's exactly what we're seeing with Watson on the zone read, with the reverse there by the Titans, playing against Clowney's instinctive mentality.
2nd and 5 as he looks Henry's way and then comes back to Dion Lewis, who tries to split defenders and is met after just 4 yards as Merciless and Jackson corralled him.
I mean, I like the idea, though, of what they're trying to do. Taking the football and going right at Jadeveon Clowney. Understand he's going to come inside, try to make a play, but Tennessee's getting the ball to their playmaker, Dion Lewis. In space or at the running back position, they need to get him the football.
In the screen game, you know, help Lewan out. Allow him to overset, give Clowney that inside rush, mixing it up.
3rd down and 2. Mariota gets it complete for a 1st down as he goes to Luke Stocker. Lisa.
Hey, Tess, Titans wide receiver Tajay Sharp still over here on the sidelines. He seems to be favoring that right ankle. Right now he's being called questionable. You remember that play by Corey Reed? He kind of got rolled up on from behind, still trying to work this out over here on the sidelines.
Well, and Lisa, as we were talking about pregame, he has been so important for the Titans on third downs this year. And now they go Wildcat again with Derrick Henry. And this time he's going to give to Lewis, and Lewis inside the 10 and taken down around the 5-yard line by Tyrann Mathieu and Benardrick McKinney.
You know, we mentioned this earlier about the Wildcat. As Honey Badger comes up, he's the guy who's setting the edge, bringing the attitude. Mike Vrabel added the Wildcat on a Friday, the first time these two teams played each other. So it's a little wrinkle. Texas had trouble with it then. It looks to be having trouble with it tonight again.
Tajae Sharpe is back into the game here. We got the update from Lisa moments ago, and quick to return. Mariota pulls, but can't escape as he's taken down by Reed. That's a loss of 5.
Well, trying to dabble in the zone read themselves, Mariota is. And, you know, I think when you see where he goes, he's got a nice little stiff arm there on Clowney, but once it keeps getting bounced to the outside, there's too much speed on the edge.
And that's what you don't want. You don't want your young quarterback getting hit. He's already had issues with his elbow, and taking shots like that is not good for this Tennessee Titans offense.
3rd and 8.
Corey Davis is his #1 weapon. He's now inside at the 3 spot.
That's where he was looking, and then has to come back to Lewis, and Lewis, extra effort is going to be close as he's then driven back. That was Christian Covington at 310 pounds, able to meet up with Lewis.
Ted, something to note. Watch number 90, Jadeveon Clowney. He's spying Marcus Mariota. Mariota wanted to run, but the Texans knew that, and they had Jadeveon Clowney in a spot technique.
They're going to be just short, so it's 4th and less than 1.
Trying to get him to jump off sides.
And a timeout is going to be used by the Texans.
Well, this is just smart by Romeo Crennel and his defense. You know you have a mobile quarterback. You take one of the best athletes in the National Football League, Jadeveon Clowney, and you put him in the middle of the field, and you dare Marcus Mariota to run against him. He doesn't. He throws the ball, just taking away one of the weapons that the Titans have. Nice job there by the Texans defense.
Yeah, and if you're Mariota, it's a 3-man rush when they go to that. So you don't have to take off running. Just buy a little time. We see the veteran quarterbacks do that. Allow your receivers to work and get open when it's a 3-man rush. He's got to adjust to the chess match as well of what Romeo Crennel's doing. And you see the veteran quarterbacks, they extend, allowing those guys to get open.
So off the timeout, 4th and 1. Mike Vrabel's done stuff like this time and time again as a first-year head coach. 4th downs, going for 2, rolling the dice, loves to be aggressive. Little extra speed to that chew of the gum here on 4th and 1. See what he comes up with. I formation with Derrick Henry. As he goes with the up back, and that was Stocker who was driven back. Cunningham and McKinney.
I just don't know about the call. Give it to the tight end. Your tailback's 247 pounds. Gotta feed him.
Texans defense stonewall. Titans head coach Mike Vrabel decided to go for it. His young offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur decided to give the ball to Luke Stocker, the seldom used tight end, and this is his first career rushing attempt in the NFL on 4th and 1, and he was stopped.
In that part of the field, that's not when you want to run that. I mean, put Henry as the fullback if you want to get the quick dive, and Lewis at the tailback. But, you know, Stalker's just worried about getting the handoff in the exchange in that moment.
So now Lamar Miller able to get out of the hole. Miller, could he? Vaccaro's chasing. Lamar Miller all the way, wire to wire. 97 yards of glory. Many years ago on Monday Night Football, it was Tony Dorsett, 99. How about Lamar Miller, 97?
Now they pull the tackle around Davenport. And your best players, Byard and Woodyard, just miss open field tackles. Having a lot of success with that gap scheme, pulling it around. Miller took that one to the house.
Second time in Miller's career he's had a 97-yard run.
Well, they're going to pull the backside tackle, not the guard. He comes around, fits Evans up pretty good, and Byard just got to come up and fill.
But the speed there of Miller, you know, they have two backs. Blue is the more physical back, but the speed of Miller just coming downhill, getting up to 20 miles per hour, it's an extra element to this offense. And this is who the Houston Texans are. They want to be a running football team, taking their shots, and when they get in trouble, allowing their mobile quarterback to make plays.
And if you're Mike Vrabel now, you want to calm your team down, right? You had the tough loss last week in Indianapolis. You make a gutsy decision, go for it in 4th and 1 to your tight end. You don't get it. And now the next play, they go the distance. Regroup. Mariota, one possession at a time. Create those plays inside the pocket. Get back to your game because you have moved the ball down the field.
Well, it was just a terrible call by Coach Vrabel. I mean, you either got to give points or give the ball to Henry, and now his team is paying for his poor coaching call on that last play.
And Jennings is going to return this from halfway in the end zone. And he does so for a 30-yard return. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Live like a pro. Speaking of Texans running back, there's their all-time leading rusher, Arian Foster, a.k.a. his stage name, Bobby Fino, who's performing at the House of Blues in Houston. Four-time Pro Bowler, former first-team All-Pro running back, now with his new career up on stage.
Looks like a Bobby Fino. I guess that's what you do when you're the all-time leading rusher for the Houston Texans.
Hey, you get a stage name, baby.
But you already have one. Lewis, as a flag is down, as he could not get away from Brandon Dunn.
Holding. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Let's check in with Lisa.
Hey, Tess, well, you mentioned Tony Dorsett's 99-yard run on Monday Night Football. That's very important in my family because Tony D is my cousin. I just texted to see if he was watching. He absolutely did see that play. I said, what did he say? And his wife said he's just yelling at the TV, go, 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 go.
Isn't that great? I love it, Lisa. Lamar Miller sparking things for the Texans. 21 unanswered points. And after the penalty, at 1st and 20 for the Titans now. Mariota's going to go underneath to Lewis as he dances his way just beyond the 20. And there's just something about these long runs with Lamar Miller. He's the only player in the last 10 years of the NFL with a 97-yard run. And he has 2.
That tells me he's fast, Tess. That's what it tells me.
Well, they've been on him about his average per carry here.
That helps, doesn't it?
That'll help that average a little bit.
I'm laughing at the thought of somebody around the country who just won their fantasy game on one play. 148 yards in this first half on 6 carries. 2nd and 13. Mariota continuing to extend the play, tucking and running and getting the first down. And that is what Marcus Mariota offers up, 14 yards like that.
Well, I love what he did here. He was really trying to move the ball down the field. Allowing him to be in shotgun off this zone read from the pistol. He's extending, he's still trying to throw. And then his linemen downfield, they peel back. See him get a good block on the edge. Ben Jones picking it up and then getting the first down. They had faced a lot of adversity. And that athleticism that he brings can get you back on track. Good play by him.
Brandon Dunn has taken a knee back inside the 10-yard line. So the training staff out to visit with Dunn, third-year player out of Louisville.
When we studied Marcus earlier in the year, you know, one of the things was he would look for a second or two and then he'd just take off running.
Right.
A lot like what he did at Oregon. Now there, yeah, he ran that one, but he looked numerous times down the field. He's had a lot of those plays the last 3 or 4 weeks where he's doing it inside the pocket. And then that clock goes off in your head and said, now I can run it and use my legs to get the first down.
Now, you told me you had a dinner with him this offseason. A lot of talk about building to that next level of what he wanted to see with his development.
Yeah, I mean, his team got to the playoffs. I was talking to him, and he's an incredible young man. He said, I want to take that next step. I want to prove that I'm a franchise guy. Really excited that Matt LaFleur, his offensive coordinator, they had great chemistry. His first opportunity. He's shown signs, but he still needs to be more consistent.
So the first down now as Lewis is in the backfield. And Lewis is met and tackled for a loss with Jonathan Joseph surging in.
It's one of the better front sevens in the National Football League test. And when they start to bring the corners and get them active, if you're Tennessee, you're going to have to back this defense up a little bit. They're starting to play downhill. Maybe time to take a shot deep to Corey Davis.
Yeah, and Batson, the rookie receiver, he's got to understand, you know, Joseph's a pretty veteran corner. He sees the run, he just shoots in there. Batson didn't even get a hand on him.
Second and 13. Lewis runs into his own man, kept his balance, and went ahead for 4. So Dion Lewis played his college ball at Pitt. His first season with the Titans. Grew up in upstate New York, in Albany, New York. Went to the Albany Academy, not a football powerhouse, kind of school that produced Teddy Roosevelt Jr. and New York State governors and the 60 Minutes curmudgeon Andy Rooney, and then this guy, Dion Lewis.
And Tess, we stood next to him yesterday. He said he's 5'7". If he's 5'7", I'm 7'1", Tess.
Look, I think he said I'm 5'7" and 5'8".
He loves it, though. He owns it, and he's hard to find. Third down and 9. Pressure on Mariota, and they take him down. And it was Christian Covington with the first sack of the night for the Texans.
And you see Tyrann Mathieu creeping. Marcus has got to see that because now he's creeping. Dion picks it up, but they run the twist game off the other side. Left guard in the center, Klein, don't pass it off. They've got to be able to pass it off and give Marcus a little time.
And firm. They need to be firm at the line of scrimmage. They can't get walked all the way back.
So Brett Kern punting away, and it's a knuckleball wobbler that bounces at the 30 and then does take a good roll for the Titans. Look at this, all the way inside the 15. Deshaun Watson and that Houston offense back out there when we come back. If you're just joining us now, this was the moment of silence earlier as we remembered Bob McNair, the Texans owner, such a dynamic part of this Houston community. There's his son, Cal, who's taking over the day-to-day operations of this NFL team. Bob McNair passed away at age 81 this past Friday. He was so critical to this community, this city, helping bring 2 Super Bowls and bringing pro football back to Houston in 2002, and great, generous to so many here in Houston. Second and 5. Watson able to get it complete to Hopkins. Flag is down at the 31. As it stands now, it's a 9-yard catch for Hopkins.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is first down.
You know, it's one thing to get pass interference and not allow to catch, allow the guy to catch the ball. But when you get pass interference and he still catches the ball, that's something these Tennessee Titans corners are going to have to work on. Adoree Jackson and Malcolm Butler, they've been getting picked on the last couple of weeks.
Well, listen, the Titans were up 10-0 to start this game. It's 21 unanswered. They need to stop now.
Alfred Blue takes it ahead to the 35, and Butler struggled back in week 2 against the Texans. Hopkins had a 28-yard touchdown when Butler was on coverage. It was a broken play, and Watson escaped from the pocket.
Yeah, and Fuller beat him in a one-on-one.
Yep.
You know, It's incredible what he accomplished in New England, you know, being a college free agent.
2nd and 2. As the Blue will take it ahead for 5 and move the change. You mentioned Will Fuller. He is now out injured for the season. He had a big game in that Week 2 matchup. Had 113 yards and a touchdown. He's got to stretch the field. Thus going out on the open market for Bill O'Brien and landing Demaryius Thomas. Doesn't have that top-end speed like he used to, but a guy that from a route running standpoint, veteran standpoint, understanding the passing concepts is going to be an easy fit. Already a touchdown tonight. There's Watson on 1st down as he comes to the near side to QT. And Kiki QT, the rookie out of Texas Tech, for 7 yards.
When that Titan secondary, you know, Logan Ryan, the veteran player coming from the Patriots. Malcolm Butler, they paid him a lot of money, hasn't had a lot of success. He's now coming in on nickel situations. And then Adoree Jackson, the young talented player, but had a tough week last week going against T.Y. Hilton.
And speaking of Malcolm Butler, he's still down at the end of that last play.
You know, and Adoree is probably the most talented of the guys in the secondary. That's the reason they tried to match him up last week against T.Y. But his technique is just not there. His ability to line up and understand his technique. You go back to last week against T.Y. Hilton. He opens up the outside and just gives T.Y. easy access to the defense, and then he has no ball skills when the ball is in the air to locate the ball. Tonight, once again, he gives Demaryius Thomas easy access to the corner, and that's taking candy from a baby right now. His ability to play with technique and fundamentals has to get better. It's one thing to be a great athlete. It's another thing to be a great athlete and play with technique and fundamentals.
I mentioned T.Y. Hilton and the Colts. How about the Colts right now? Their 5th straight win. Beat the Dolphins yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Luck's playing at a high level. And Frank Reich, you know, he wins the Super Bowl there as offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Josh McDaniels turns down that job late. He kind of backdoors his way into getting that head job, and he's got his football team playing really well at the right time.
That Colt offensive line is mature. They are not giving up sacks now, and Luck is playing well.
Watson just kept it himself there as he goes ahead for 2 yards, just short of midfield. Well, Andrew Luck and the Colts coming up with that win yesterday against the Dolphins. Back from the injuries and looking sharp.
He is looking sharp. We had him in the preseason, you know. That was a tough offseason for him. Going back to last year, he said he really found himself, and it's showing up. Playing with a lot of confidence. He's connected with Frank Reich. They're on the same page. And that offensive line is strong.
They're at 6-5 in this AFC South. As Watson had a lot of traffic in front of him. And that is the first incompletion tonight by either quarterback. As we'll wait on this flag. It's all the way downfield at the 32.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 26. It's a 5-yard penalty, an automatic 1st down.
Yeah, and Hopkins there, Logan Ryan's going up to him, and they want to be physical with him. And you just can't hold. He went on a double move. Can't do that, but Dean Pease defense is built on stopping the run, and they haven't done that. You know, over 180 yards rushing for the Texans here the first half. And they came in tonight only giving up 3.9 yards an attempt. Not what we're seeing.
Well, after the penalty, Watson deep drop downfield looking for Nuke. And unable to heat up against Adoree Jackson.
Amazing what kind of arm he has, though. Off the play action, Hopkins go out and up, just enough to get by him. But Adoree, stride for stride. He is an athlete. He has those traits. When you watch him on tape, you can see why he's a 1st-round pick. He has that potential to be a lockdown guy, but he has to get back to his fundamentals. When you're on that island, there's nowhere to hide.
Keeping up on that 2-minute warning. So they'll go with Blue here. They're at 2nd down. It was Tennessee early on. Smith had the big touchdown. They were up 10-zip. But the Texans have roared back 21-10. Got Susie Lou and Steve coming up on the Genesis halftime show, of course, all about the Texans and this offense. SVP is joined by the Heisman candidate, Kyler Murray, and the special performance is by Bad Bunny. Wait, you know what Rolling Stone said about Bad Bunny?
What's that?
They said that he employs a low, slurry tone, viscous melody with a rapper's cadence, and he's going to do so in Spanish tonight. I am all in on Bad Bunny.
Interesting.
How does not sell Bad Bunny?
Oh. I have no idea who Bad Bunny is.
Oh, you're going to find a lot about him out. 3rd and 4. We know plenty about Watson as he's off the mark looking for Ryan Griffin.
Even though Watson missed that pass, though, nice job by him recognizing the blitz. He didn't do that in the earlier meeting this season with the Titans. Recognized it there, threw it, didn't get it complete.
So Malcolm Butler walking off the field. Lisa will surely get us an update on his status. As Trevor Daniel, rookie punter. And we're looking to pin here inside the 10. And it just leaks in for the touchback. Well, I showed you the AFC playoff picture, and then you turn your attention to the NFC, and you got those two nice glossy records of the Saints and the Rams, and the Bears just keep doing their thing, right? Backup quarterback Thanksgiving Day, let's go grab a win. And then there's the muddled NFC East. Cowboys for now at 6-5. Redskins and Eagles will meet up next week on Monday Night Football. Eagles came out with a late victory against the Giants. I thought that was a big win when you look at the in-the-hunt teams by Seattle over the Panthers yesterday.
Yeah, and the way they're doing it. I mean, they're running the football. Russell Wilson extending plays, playing at a high level. And the last team on the bottom there, Aaron Rodgers. He went team by team, opponent by opponent. Don't count us out yet. No, sir, we won't.
Let's see if the Titans can get an answer here before the half, and a good opening play to this drive with Cameron Batson for 13 yards.
You know, you guys mentioned the teams on that list. To me, the team that you don't take your eye off of is the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins is playing well, and we know Zimmer and that defense are rounding into shape.
Adam Thielen again, a good game. As Mariota ad-libs and just flicks the ball to Lewis, and a flag is down back at the 30-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 77. It's a 15-yard penalty. Still first down.
You mentioned the Vikes, Boog. Adam Thielen, a great receiver. His 9th game this year with over 100 receiving yards in that win against the Packers, and that broke Randy Moss's team record.
Lewan just went right through his helmet. Merciless. He can't do it. But, you know, Marcus Mariota, I mean, his team's down 11, but you see his playmaking ability, what he's trying to do. I mean, he's 50 games into his career. At some point, you got to take the training wheels off and play this type of game. What he's doing right now, his teammates got to help him stay ahead of the chains.
That leaves him with a 1st and 25 after the penalty. Tyrann Mathieu came in, they picked that up, and then Mariota extends, tucks, and gets out of bounds before Cunningham could get to that edge.
Well, Romeo Crennel tried to fool him there. He walked the two linebackers up in the A-gap, hoping Mariota would see them, and he brought the honey badger, Tyrann Mathieu, off the edge. They picked it up, but nobody was open. Nice job by Marcus, pulling it down and getting what he could get.
Yeah, and there's a difference between having guys that can rush the passer and having true pass rushers. And that's what you're seeing, J.J. Watt, because what the difference is that Mariota's eyes have to be on them at all times. Guys like J.J. Watt, they're never out of it, as you see him complaining for a holding call.
2nd and 21. Watt able to collapse things, and then Covington finished it off. 2nd sack of the night of Mariota.
Justin James Watt, the ability to create for his teammates and get inside. He created, and then number 95, Christian Covington, finished it off.
But it all starts with Watt, his ability to go right down the middle. He changes up with the swim move, then he comes with the bull, he engages, locks him out, and then disengages. That's just textbook by J.J. Watt, and he is a true pass rusher.
Well, and you know what? You're seeing the difference between these two teams. When the Texans want to get pressure, they can do it with a 4-man rush. Tennessee has to bring pressure, bring blitzes, That's the variation, when you can do it with 4 men instead of having to bring 5 or 6.
Third and 29 after Mariota went crumbling down. And Lewis taken down by Watt at the end of all of that. Well, Houston has the ability to manage the clock here if they choose to do so.
Well, you talk about these guys and what they can do. They got that, how they get in there and get off the ball like that. Clowney taking on 2 guys, disengaging. I've gone against them there. Tough to do it. And then Watt on the other side, he rushes upfield. He keeps playing. You know, his ability not to give up. Some of the best players as pass rushers, you know, they bring it on 3rd down. They're ready to go. But Watt is rare in that he just keeps playing. On that one, he was rushing upfield, and then the ball pops back out. He just keeps going and going. His motor is there for 60 minutes. It does not stop.
You know, and when we visited with him, he talked about reminding people, hey, my name is J.J. Watt, and I'm still a bad man. Said he's found himself, said he's getting back to who he is.
So Kern punts from his end zone, and it takes a perfect directional angle and goes out of bounds for a 53-yard punt. 45 seconds remaining in the half.
Oh, this is what J.J. Watt's been tonight. Early with the tackle for loss, with the spin move. He takes on the double team. He gets past the tight end, runs over the back, forcing Mariota, and then they go for the cut block, but they're not going to get him down. The guard has to pop out, and then that last one, going to the bull, disengaging. He does not stop his pass rush. The ability to do it on the inside as a tackle, and then to go on the edge as a true pass rusher.
Where he would meet up with you through the years a little bit. You said he'd lean on you, he'd punch you, he'd toss you, and unfortunately, I had to be
he had a little
the display here in the booth for you to do more of that. And here is the rookie tight end Akins.
And a costly mistake by Akins there.
Got to get out.
Yeah, out of bounds.
Time counting down as we come up to a half-minute remaining. As Houston roared back after getting in that 10-0 hole. 2nd and 2 for Watson. No timeouts remaining. A lot of options downfield and gets it complete on the sidelines to DeAndre Hopkins. And that stops the clock with 18 seconds. 24 yards here.
Yeah, look at this throw. Cover 2 and the catch on the sideline. How does he go down and keeps his feet in?
What balance.
Tracks the ball. And you see at the very end how he doesn't just fall to the ground and let the ball hit first. He turns that shoulder. Textbook by Hopkins. It's so hard to do. Don't even allow the referees to have a chance to review it or change the call. Flipping that shoulder is textbook.
Just like that in field goal range for Fairbairn, but perhaps a chance to take another shot here.
But that's what he does these last 3 seasons when he's 2 yards from the sidelines. #1 in receptions, yards, touchdowns, and you can run routes and you want to be able to catch the ball and your speed and at the line of scrimmage, all that's important. But making tough catches is so critical for wide receivers, and he does as well as anybody in the league.
Well, that's the next-gen stats, which you got the chip in the shoulder pads. They're measuring where you are on the field, so you can say, okay, those toe tappers, those sideline catches. And next-gen stats is across the board. That's the best in the league. You know, Tony Toe Tap up there in Pittsburgh, he's got the reputation as being the best. But next-gen says it is Nuke Hopkins down here in Houston, not Antonio Brown.
And the thing for him, he's done it with a lot of different quarterbacks over his time here in Houston.
So let's see how they manage things here with Watson having 18 seconds to work some more magic. Remember, no timeouts as Watson runs ahead and goes for 5 yards.
My, oh my, you got to clock it right away, but the young quarterback.
And able to line up and clock it, and only 1 second remains.
Well, think about that situation. Game management in the end of the half and certainly at the end of the game. They only got 2-3 plays off there if you count the clock it. You know, the tight end not getting out of bounds, then they make the big play, they come back. Watson's got to have more awareness, just throw it away. You're already in field goal range. We don't need you to run it and eat the clock there.
Amy Fairbairn on for the 43-yard attempt. had a couple game winners in overtime this year for Houston. And a great way to cap a second quarter. 24-10 with the tack-on Fairbairn field goal. Texans will also get the ball to start the second half, as we'll join Susie Colbert for the Genesis halftime show starting right now. Big divisional battle here in Houston, and it started just fine for Tennessee. Jonnu Smith with the 61-yard touchdown. But back came Watson and the Texans. And then history with Lamar Miller, 97-yard run. He's done it twice now in the last 10 years. And a lot to celebrate with 24 unanswered points for the Texans. 24-10. The quarterbacks, 12 of 12 is Mariota, is going to need something to get going here in this second half. And Watson with the touchdown pass as well. Rematch game. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten will check in with Booker McFarland in a moment. You get these rematches here as Tennessee won in week number 2, and both staffs know each other so well. How did that impact what we saw and about what we see moving forward?
Well, it just played out a lot throughout that first half, where you saw the zone read with Deshaun Watson, the reverse, but the decision to go for it on 4th and 1 for the Titans, not getting it, giving it to Luke Stocker instead of giving it to the Henry, the 250-pound running back. And then the next play, when Miller takes it and goes 97 yards. That's when the momentum really flipped in the Texans' favor.
Let's talk about that. Arcade Jewelers' extraordinary moment, because this was the swing moment here. You had the 4th and 1 call that changed trajectory of the entire game.
Yeah, and they decided to give Stalker his first carry of his career. And the very next play, Texans pull Davenport on the backside, and Miller goes for 97. And the momentum just flipped. You could just feel it for the Titans. But right now, it's desperation time for the Titans. In a lot of ways, your season's on the line. Certainly the division and your chances of winning it. You got to respond, and that's the guy, Mike Vrabel. That's why he was brought here to Tennessee, to go in there and turn it around. Marcus Mariota, when he gets his opportunity, they have to be aggressive.
And I'm definitely with you, Whit. The first thing I want to see, this Titans defense come out in the first 5 minutes and set the tone. This defense needs to get a stop, build some momentum. That way your young quarterback can feel comfortable on this comeback.
Carter lets it go over his head. Lisa.
Hey, Tess. Well, Mike Vrabel absolutely agrees with you guys. He said his team took a big emotional hit when they did not convert that 4th and 1, and then the Texans scored on that 97-yard touchdown run by Lamar Miller. He said we have to settle down and get back to playing complimentary football like we did to start the game. But something to note, Tess, since Bill O'Brien became head coach in 2014, the Texans have the best record in the league when leading at halftime, 28-1.
Says a lot about Coach O'Brien and the staff in the midst of a 7-game win streak.
And that's what you want to see coming out of the second half. Jarrell Casey just shoots penetration, much what we've been seeing from the Texans front on defense, and getting a stop there. That's how you have to play. This is the strength of their team. They played towards the defense, the Titans do, and now they need to get a good start here and get a stop. Start second half.
See LaShawn Sims at the bottom of your screen playing corner for the Titans. Malcolm Butler is in concussion evaluation right now. 2nd and 9, and strong-armed a little too much for Demaryius Thomas over the middle. It'll be 3rd and 9. Real big opportunity here now for the Titans D.
They were going right at him. That was a fastball coming in there. Watson, he's got a quick release, man. You know, we saw in the first half, I mean, he threw that one, his first incompletion. I think it went about 65 yards in the air, so maybe a little bit more touch on that.
What do you look for here on 3rd and 9?
Well, you got to expect, with Hopkins being out wide, he's a single coverage here on Adoree Jackson. You got to think that's going to be his weapon.
It's going to go underneath Griffin, and Griffin, nothing but green space as the tight end will go for 22 yards. Picked up a block from the rookie Kiki Kuti.
Well, again, he goes to block, and Woodyard really has to play him man-to-man. He sees him chip, and as soon as he chips, he goes on the blitz, and now Griffin comes free. Nobody's covering him on the back end.
It's one of the things we talked about in the open with. If Deshaun Watson can decipher the blitz, he'll have big plays just like he did in the last play.
Miller finding another seam. What a night for Miller. Let's see if it stands as a flag is down at midfield.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
And that's the left tackle, Julian Davenport, so they will march this back. And you know, through Thanksgiving games that we just had, Davenport is the most penalized player in the NFL. Now 13 total flags and 10 accepted penalties on Davenport.
You know, Davenport's been blocking well. He threw the key block on the 97-yard touchdown. There, he just didn't move his feet. Happens to big guys. If you want to cut down on the holding penalties, move your feet and don't grab with your hands.
Titans have to get off the field here, and they got a little bit of break with that holding penalty. Backed them up.
Watson, incomplete, as he was trying to connect with Jordan Thomas, the big rookie tight end from Mississippi State. Boy, Thomas is on that list, Boog, when we make the tour around, those young tight ends who love to come into the production meetings, even when they're not on the list, and say, hello, Mr. Witten. I try to emulate you for the last 15 years. May I please spend 5 minutes with you?
Yeah, spend 5 minutes, take a picture, give me an autograph, tell me how to run Y option. They all want to do the same thing.
He's a good kid, an SEC kid out of Mississippi State. You know, he plays the right way, coming in here as a 6th-round draft pick, get a lot of playing time. He's big, man. These tight ends these days, they're coming in at 270.
Alfred Blue out of the backfield as he lowers the shoulder to cross midfield. Goes for 13 yards there.
And the Titans defensive backfield, that's the strength. It's a veteran bunch. You got them in second long. I get you're going to play prevent. Prevent doesn't mean go all the way back. You know, you can't just give him a check down and it goes for 10, 12, 15 yards. It's just now he has in a manageable situation. They've got to challenge him more.
And now on 3rd down, if I'm the Titans, I challenge them and bring pressure. See if Watson can decipher who's coming.
3rd and 7. They come with 4. Watson gets loose and then is wrapped up by Jayon Brown.
And Bill O'Brien, he's probably going to go for this now. He's got good field position there. Division game.
You know, it's the thing that we always look at. They have 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, but they only bring 4. It's token pressure. It's really not pressure, it's token.
Well, Bill O'Brien keeping that offense on the field. 43-yard line, 4th and 1 here. Up by 2 scores. First possession, second half.
He sees it. Blitz is coming.
Here's 4th down. And just like that, Hopkins makes it look easy. Quick out as Watson connects.
But that's making it too easy right there, Tess. We could see the blitz coming from up here. Watson saw it, man-to-man on the outside, put his back foot in the ground, throw a nice out there to DeAndre Hopkins. If you're going to do it, you got to disguise. Nice job by Watson. You've seen it and delivering a strike.
And how about press coverage? It's top corners. I'd like to see him play it a little bit.
As another flag comes in at the end of Miller's run.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Well, Hopkins, they've been trying to give him a lot of coverage. You know, on the touchdown to Thomas, they double covered him with Byard in behind and opened up his man. And then they go to play action and rolling coverage again to him, but it doesn't matter. He knows the spot. And then when he gets one-on-one, gets the holding call, doesn't even matter. He makes the play. He understands that when he gets one-on-one, they have to capitalize. And the good thing for him, his quarterback sees it too.
1st and 20 after the flag. As QT is met at about the 41 that time. You mentioned Hopkins and everything he has done throughout his career. 17th game with Deshaun Watson as the starter. And look at the numbers when he's got Watson for now what will be a full season plus this. 110 receptions, over 1,500 receiving yards, 14 touchdowns.
Must be that Clemson Paul, you know, that Tiger. You got that going in their favor there.
2nd and 13, Watson with time, and once again to Hopkins.
You can move him all around the field too. You know, he's not just a single receiver on the outside. He plays in the slot as he is here. He works through it. And he gets jammed a lot. He gets rerouted some, but he's a tough receiver. As you can see, he comes across, makes those catches.
You know, when you talk about the top receivers, everyone goes to Julio and Antonio and OBJ. They need to mention DeAndre Hopkins. He's a top 5 receiver in football, and he deserves a lot of credit for that.
3rd and 5 now. Watson pumps and now runs and couldn't escape that time as Evans was charging in, got a few extra yards. Remember, they converted a 4th and 1 to keep this drive alive. And now we'll be trotting on the special teams unit here.
You know, one thing about him is his arms are so long. He's got a pretty good little stiff arm. I mean, I know you don't want him taking those hits, but you know, he's like the plastic man. I mean, he just keeps getting up time after time. And you know, when you watch him on tape and you study him, it just you know, it says volumes about who he is and the leader and the way he plays. Certainly you don't want him taking a lot of those hits, though.
Fairbairn made from 43 before the half, this from 47. Opening drive for the 2nd half, and they add to their lead here on Monday Night Football. Next week on Monday Night Football, we have a classic NFC East rivalry. We've got the Skins and the Eagles. Monday Night Countdown will get things started at 6 Eastern in this NFC East that is so muddled right now. You saw what the Cowboys did to the Skins on Thanksgiving Day, and then Philly trailed the Giants 19-3 in the 2nd quarter, and they came back to get the win. So, hey, the Super Bowl champs aren't done yet now.
Yeah, they looked like they were at halftime, but they responded. Keeping the dream alive. Talented group. They have not played up to their standard, though. Philadelphia. That division's wide open.
And then consider that the Cowboys are playing the same. I mean, we could be sitting there at the end of next Monday with 6-6 across the board.
Yeah, you definitely could be, Ted.
Here's Jennings on the return as he's able to make his way just past the 20.
You know, I think when you look at the Cowboys, guys, right now they're playing with a really good formula. They're giving the football to Ezekiel Elliott. They're running the ball. Their defense has played great all year. And I think if Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan will keep that formula, they can win a lot of games. But I agree with you. Philly needs to get healthy. If they can get healthy, I think between them and Dallas, it's going to decide that division.
You just keep giving the ball to Cooper there. Went for $180 the other day.
Trade's working out for him.
Sure is, isn't it? 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, had the 90-yard touchdown reception against the Skins. And here is Derrick Henry. That's what Henry likes to do. Get downhill.
You know, right now we're about to find out about Tennessee. Down 17, I don't think they can play the way they want to play, which is running the football. They're going to have to allow young Marcus Mariota to open the offense up and bring them back.
Whistles come in here as there was some motion. A little movement up front.
False start. Offense, number 19. The 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Well, if you're Marcus Mariota, you know, he doesn't have an incompletion. But right now, so he's playing pretty well, but it's all about tempo, urgency, and you have to be aggressive. Play the rest of the game in hurry-up mode right now. You got to attack. You got to find ways to get big chunks and get the ball out quickly because you know that pass rush is coming.
He may be 12 of 12, but he can't play defense. His defense has given up 361 total yards. And this offensive unit now has 5 penalties on him. 2nd and 8. And there's another completion as he goes to Michael Pruitt.
And that's the urgency you want. Get the ball out. Now get back on the line of scrimmage. 1st down. Stay in that tempo. He's playing well tonight. He's getting the ball out. He's taking shots. and his drop back, and then he has extended those plays.
I just like to see him push the ball down the field a little bit more, Rick.
Yes.
Maybe this is the chance. Instead, they go with the screen, and it's Henry as he is taken down from behind by Bernardrick McKinney.
And that thing had a chance now. They had it blocked up well. Good job on the outside for them getting him. Merciless just shot inside. Kind of split Spain, who's getting out in space. But that thing had a chance.
Second and 2. Henry. Can he get there? Looks like he's going to be marked about a half a yard short as he tried to back into that line to make. Zach Cunningham was able to get to him.
And here they come with the tempo. 3rd and short. It's the right mindset.
Third and 1. Henry easily will drag Clowney ahead for 5 yards.
You know, I think Houston is willing to give him a 3-yard run, a 5-yard completion. When you're down 17, you need chunk plays, explosive plays down the field. They're going to have to start taking some chances here.
If that was the 4th quarter, I'd agree with you, Pogue, but they still got some time right now in the 3rd. Just can't do that.
No, he's tripped up that time as Merciless was clogging up with a lot of traffic in that pocket. There is Whitney Merciless.
And glad to see
1.5 career sacks.
Yeah, glad to see Whitney Merciless making a play. He's in a new role right now. You know, he's kind of playing in a sub package for Clowney, for Watt, not rushing the passer as much. Nice to see him get in there and cause a sack.
If you're Conklin, you know, you're dealing with Watt, you're dealing with Watt. And then they bring Merciless. It doesn't get any easier. Guy had 12 sacks a couple years ago.
That was 2015 when he had his best year. 2nd and 16. They only bring 3, and still Mariota goes down. And once again, it was Christian Covington. 4th sack of the night for the Texans.
But now they bring Covington on there. So you got 3 different guys on 3 plays. You know he's going to go just straight power. Conklin's not firm and is set.
You know, that's not a good sign when you're trying to protect the passer when your star left tackle is still down on a knee. They're taking a look at Taylor Lewan, and we'll take a quick break. Tennessee's Pro Bowl tackle Taylor Lewan was able to walk off the field moments ago. Here's what happened.
Yeah, he had a nice little pass set, and sometimes when you're playing in the trenches, this guy on the inside, Klein, throws him on him. Rolled him up down there on that lower part of his leg, maybe his ankle.
So Dennis Kelly comes in. The 7th season out of Purdue. Was traded over from the Eagles back in 2016. And they got a 3rd and 20. Mariota flicks it to Lewis as Lewis stood up to that initial hit from the Honey Badger and then goes down after 11 yards.
But watch J.J. Watt. I mean, Dion Lewis is going to be on the edge there to try to chip him, get it started. He goes for a cut. No thanks. Comes back underneath. And he just does not give up with his rush. Mariota's trying to make it happen. Good play by him. But, you know, sometimes that pass rush, he's relentless with it. He does not let up.
So Kern will punt away. The Texans looking to keep that win streak alive, up 17 at home. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Walmart. Light up Christmas at Walmart. November 78, Dolphins, Oilers, and Earl Campbell. This was the height of the Love Ya Blue era for the Oilers. He went for 199 yards on Monday Night Football. in that win over the Dolphins, the Love You Blue era in Houston. You know, Wade Phillips, of course, was your coach, so you got a lot of time of hearing some of those stories about his dad, Bum Phillips, and what was going on back in the day here in Houston. That was a great Monday Night Football memory from the 70s there. Love You Blue back in the day of the Oilers, who of course became the Titans.
Yeah, I've heard some of those Love You Blue stories. You know, when Wade came to Dallas as our head coach, we had 4 years from Parcells.
Right.
And the first day of training camp, it was a conditioning test. And Wade comes in, he decides he's not going to have a conditioning test. And a lot of the media and players were asking, like, hey, coach, I think it's important that we have this this conditioning test. And instead, he says, let me tell you a story about my days when I was a young assistant for my dad. And they were having the first day conditioning test, and they're going to run a mile around the track, and the fans are there.
1 mile conditioning test.
Yeah, and the fans are there, and the media's there, and they go around. And I guess Earl, you know, he pulled up about after lap number 1.
Earl Campbell wasn't running that mile conditioning.
And they asked Bum, they said, what are you going to do about your star running back? He didn't pass the conditioning test. He said, well, if it's 3rd and a mile, I'm not going to give it to him. But every other down and every other yardage, he's getting the ball.
That's right. And he got the ball a lot in Monday Night Football back in the late 70s. Went for 199 yards in that memorable game against the Dolphins. As we had Kelemete, the left guard, come off the field with medical staff. Remember, he injured his ankle and left last week's game against Washington. There's some concern whether or not he could go tonight. Was able to practice a little later in the week. As Greg Mance comes in and now replaces him on 3rd down and 3. Empty look here for Deshaun Watson. Backed up, tripped up, and taken down.
Nice job there by Brian Orakpo. You know, he came into this game, only had 1 sack, but pressure off the edge, caving the pocket in. Sometimes it's just not the prettiest move. Just use your power and power inside. Gets a piece of Watson there. Nice move there by Brian Orakpo.
Maybe a chance for Adoree Jackson in the return game here. As Trevor Daniel just inside goal line. Nearly got a piece of it. Instead, he turns it over and drives it all the way back to the 33 for Jackson. It'll be good field position for the Titans to start this drive. They need a spark with 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd, trailing by 17. It's big news today concerning the NFL draft. Going to be in Nashville this year. ABC will be the exclusive broadcast home of the 2019 draft. Coverage of all 3 days for the first time. So both ABC and ESPN going to have primetime telecasts. The College Game Day crew is going to anchor the ABC coverage as they go with Henry here to midfield. And then ESPN is still going to have the traditional pick-by-pick NFL Focus presentation. And give credit to Amy Adams Strunk, the owner of the Titans, who was just outstanding in her push to bring the draft to Nashville. It's going to be ESPN's 40th year of televising the NFL draft. So don't go making plans, Boog and Whit. April 25th to 27th. I think the 3 of us are going to be a little bit busy. I'm excited to see the College Game Day crew anchoring that ABC coverage. 2nd and 9. As Henry will get inside the 45-yard. That'll be 3rd down from there up to the 7-yard run.
You know, I think you're seeing the difference between the 2 quarterbacks. You know, Deshaun Watson, yeah, the running game is going, but he's taking some shots and throwing the ball down the field. Marcus Mariota and the Titans, they're down 17. First play, you come out with a wildcat. Second play, you hand off to Henry. Explosive plays. The Tennessee Titans offense has to open up if they want to make a comeback.
And you see that stat line on Mariota, 15 of 15 passing tonight. But that's been the issue. Penalties. Another one.
Ball start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And it just hasn't gone downfield as we look at the pass chart according to the next-gen stats. Everything's near the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, and then very little going beyond 10 yards.
Yeah, and look, coming into the game, they're 28th in the league with 17 points a game. And if it wasn't for a blown coverage early in the game by Matthew, they'd only have 3 points. So, yeah, he's accurate, and he's throwing the ball, and he doesn't have an incompletion, but you got to stretch the field.
6th penalty on the Tennessee offense makes for a 3rd and 7. This time he does go downfield, and it's Davis wide open and just what they needed. 48-yard touchdown. Like you said, Jason Witten.
And he went to his guy, Corey Davis, his leading target on a double move. Good route, go to the out and up. Mariota anticipates it, throws him open, doesn't allow the safety to get involved. Keep it wide. You know you got the corner. You're worried about the safety when you run double moves as a receiver. And Marcus saw it early. They needed to respond with the ability to stretch the field. That's just what the doctor ordered for the Titans.
16 throws without an incompletion. And that much needed touchdown to Corey Davis. And Corey Davis is a guy who has an incredible backstory. He grew up in the Chicago suburbs of Wheaton, had a challenging childhood, became a very close friend to his Pee Wee football teammate Ryan Graham. There's Ryan there with Corey, and it was Ryan's parents, Dan and Robin, who became Corey's legal guardians. They helped him guide the course. Had his only Division I offer. It was to Western Michigan. PJ Fleck rowed the boat Broncos. Became the first FBS college football player with 5,000 yards, 300 catches, 50 touchdowns in history. And from all of that and the Pee Wee football friendship with Ryan Graham to the number 5 overall pick in the 2017 draft.
You know, it didn't come easy for him.
No.
He struggled last year as a rookie. He was injured. Took him a while to kind of understand how do you run routes on the outside in pro football. He's coming into his own year 2 on track for over 1,000 yards.
.13 seconds left here in this third quarter. After a second quarter, when Deshaun Watson and the Texans were in gear, he had the rushing touchdown to take the lead. Lamar Miller had the 97-yard run. He got the field goal before the half. And went 27 unanswered points prior to that touchdown strike of Mariota to Davis. And now a 10-point margin, and the Titans defense with another opportunity here. Been a big night for Lamar Miller as he bounces it for 4 yards there.
He got away with a false start there.
7-game win streak on the line for Deshaun Watson and the Texans. Fourth quarter when we return to Monday Night Football. Back here in Houston for Monday Night Football. Houston, we're back in 2003 in the Super Bowl win for the pass over the Panthers. That guy, Mike Vrabel, caught a touchdown pass. Now the head coach of the Titans, his team trailing by 10 as we start the fourth quarter. Watson somehow got it out to Lamar Miller as he goes for 5 yards there on what was 2nd and 6. So athletic.
You know, Dabo Swinney called him Michael Jordan. He probably should have called him Houdini. He was dead to right here. But this is what happens when you have a quarterback that's mobile and athletic and can make something out of nothing.
He's never out of the play, and he just escapes. I mean, he's slithery back there on how he just kind of gets skinny and is able to kind of get off balance and make those plays.
Now a 3rd and 1. That's a good job wrapping up that time by Rashaan Evans as Blue just couldn't get anything going forward there. So a solid stop for Tennessee. As punt return will come on the field for the Titans. The Titans haven't won a game when trailing by 10+ points in the fourth quarter since week 15 of the 2016 season.
You see Vrabel calling his guys over. Get excited. That's a big stop.
Sure was. Fair catch inside the 20 for Jackson. Now, it's great to see Watson and Mariota. I mean, listen, the guys have been stars for so long now. Of course, the college days, the Heisman win for Mariota with Oregon, and then Deshaun Watson, and really that great ascent by the Clemson Tigers in 32 wins framed against only 3 losses, and the national championship win over Alabama in 2016. And we're coming to that stretch run with the college football playoff rankings, aren't we? But not much worrying for Bama and Clemson, is there?
Think about that. I mean, what he did against Nick Saban's Alabama team. Over 800 yards, 7 touchdowns, only 1 interception. You know, the kid's a winner. He's developing now as a true quarterback in his 2nd year.
Here's the 2014 Heisman winner giving way. And stacked up that time is Derrick Henry. The double Heisman backfield for Tennessee.
Well, you know, Tess, the challenge for these guys, when they run these spread offenses, we talked about it before, they're holding signs up on the sidelines, and there's 4 plays, and somehow they have this system. They don't get in the huddle. They don't have to walk in there. Look, these offensive linemen, they're looking in your eyes, and you got to come in, take command of the huddle, call the play, show them that, hey, we're going to do this. I'm going to be the leader of this group. And they've never done that before. Oftentimes going back to high school, even before that, and there's something to be said for that, because I've been in that huddle, and I want that quarterback to show me that we're going to be successful.
We'll see if he can show him here. 16 of 16 passing from Mariota. And another completion right at the line of scrimmage. Majority of it's been short as he goes to Lewis.
And it's a transition for those quarterbacks going in there, because it's just, you got to practice it. You know, much like me as a rookie broadcaster. You know, I sit in front of my hotel room in the mirror. Is that what's happening over and over again? And Dak Prescott, that's one of the things I'll say about him. When he got in there, he ran this similar offense, signals on the sideline, and he took command of it, you know, and he was patient in the way he spoke, and he just let you know, like, hey, guys, believe in me. He had that confidence when he communicated with us.
Well, here's a moment where they need to believe. 3rd and 8, ball comes out, bouncing around and fighting for it underneath. J.J. Watt got his hand on it.
You know, number 78, Jack Conklin, has been having a rough night.
And it's going to be 4th down.
He's had to block Clowney. He's had to block Covington. And now he's lined up against number 99, J.J. Watt. And he goes against this tight end, coming on the outside and just handles Smith there, the tight end. Nice move there by J.J. Watt.
But I can tell you from playing tight end in 3rd and long, you know, you mentioned how Conklin struggled. Well, the answer's not putting Jonnu Smith one-on-one on him. I can assure you that.
Here's Carter as he was pinned in the corner with the directional kick from Brett Kern. A 55-yard punt. J.J. Watt playing some good ball right there, wasn't he? USAA and the NFL pay tribute to our armed forces through the salute to service. As James Watt, grandfather of JJ, served in the Korean War, passed away at age 81 in 2014. JJ has such fond memories of his grandfather James. He credits him for his work ethic. And he is, and you talk about work ethic, he's over on the bike already after just coming off the field. 1.5 sacks, the forced fumble, and 9 tackles, and this was moments ago.
Well, he was licking his chops having that matchup on Jonnu Smith, the tight end. You know, he's so smart. He works at it pre-snap. He knows alignments. He gets the tips of when you're soft in your stance, on top of just being a phenomenal athlete.
And then there's this side of things. Big Jordan Thomas. And Deshaun Watson getting the completion for 6 yards here. Watson, the touchdown pass tonight, as well as the touchdown run. We've got a good crop of young tight ends in the league now. You see Thomas. They also have Akins, another rookie. Next week, we're going to see Zach Ertz, who's on a record pace with catches for a tight end. We've got Washington and Philly next week on Monday Night Football. So interested to see how this NFC East is going to play out. Cowboys sitting there now at 6-5. A few weeks ago, we were there in Dallas, and that guy was coming up with a big road win with what the Titans were able to do to the Cowboys, and then they come back and they wallop New England 34-10, and then bottomed out last week at Indy, and then faced this Houston team who has won 7 straight. It's been red hot.
Houston's just 1 for 7 on third down. They find themselves in a 3rd and short. As good as they played, haven't been good on third down.
Here's 3rd and 2. Little pressure off the edge that they pick up, and that ball goes into the hands of Thomas for 4 yards.
You know, Deshaun Watson sets his own protection, guys. It's different. Marcus Mariota, the center, Ben Jones sets his. But Watson can see it. He's done a good job tonight of deciphering when they're coming and getting the ball out quick. It's a good job by a young quarterback setting the protection, putting his offensive lineman in the right situation to protect him.
So a fresh set of downs as they're able to convert there. And now Miller, as he was probing that left side, tackled by Woodyard.
You know, Boogie, and following that, but you think about him, you know, what he's ability to do is seeing the blitz, understanding where he wants to go, allowing his lineman to go, but it hasn't been pretty all the time. He's taken some hits. He has to identify it, and then he comes back, he goes with the quick snap, says no, and he has success with it on the second time. So you may get him once, but does a good job adjusting.
2nd and 8. As he dances his way free, and then look at the stride from Watson. They're saying the ball did not come out at the end there as Byard was trying to sell it as a recovery. They said he was down after that long run. When he makes a decision to go, he can really go. Watch the end of the play here. It started to come loose just a little bit, didn't it? As the challenge flag is thrown out there. Coach Vrabel is going to hope that this goes his way. Watch the end of this.
Tennessee is challenging the ruling of the field of down by contact.
Byard gets his shoulder in there. You can see a little bit of movement right there. Did he have that firm control?
I don't know.
Down by contact. Ruling on the field is no fumble. We'll find out when we return to Houston. Well, the ruling on the field is going to stand as called. That Watson, after the 34-yard run, was down by contact. Looked like this ball was starting to come loose a bit here.
There was definitely some movement there, Tess.
Looks like it's out to me.
But the Texans will retain possession. Remember, that was the ruling on the field. They look for the inconclusive video evidence, whether see if they have it or not. And in this case, it stands. And with it, a chance to put this game away with Lamar Miller.
And I'd look for the Texans to try to hammer this in. You got 263 yards rushing on the night. Your offensive line has controlled the line of scrimmage. Allow Lamar Miller and this offensive line to pound this football in.
Under 8.5 to play here. 10-point lead. And a touchdown strike to Thomas.
Thomas got Adoree Jackson on the outcut earlier for a touchdown. Now he comes back on Sims. It's just a bootleg. He gets outside the pocket. They're called. And Thomas, he does such a good job capturing the outside number and then breaking. You don't want to just run away because you know you're close to the sideline. You want to push vertical and just capture that outside shoulder and then break out of the cut. That's a veteran wide receiver showing you how to do it.
You know, guys, we had the sense in talking to Bill O'Brien. He said, listen, it's on me that Demaryius Thomas hasn't been as involved since we got him from the Broncos. Remember, he only came in with 3 catches since becoming a Houston Texan. He's got 2 touchdowns tonight. So they kept the ball, and then they put it in. 10-yard touchdown pass. Watson to Thomas. Hey, we're sitting on the doorstep of ESPN's V Week. It's going to start tomorrow. ESPN, the V Foundation. We continue to raise funds and awareness for cancer research. And for more information, we encourage you to go to ESPN.com/VWeek. So critically important for everybody to join forces there. Now, Demaryius Thomas, the touchdown catch moments ago from that guy, Deshaun Watson. For Thomas, his first multi-touchdown game since week 15 of 2015. Came over from the Broncos. And that trade happened just before the trade deadline. You know, we talked about how critical this game is in terms of playoff positioning, but especially so for the Titans. As you look at what happens, their current status coming in of making the playoffs was 20%. With a win, according to the Football Power Index, it would be 40% chance to make the playoffs. But with a loss, it drops down to 14%. And that is what they are facing here, trailing by 17 with just over 8 minutes to play. You lose tonight, and according to FBI, you only have a 14% chance to make the playoffs. They came in at 5-5, had a couple signature wins, and then that loss last week to Indy, and now this hole that they're in as they go with Lewis for 3 yards.
You know, it's going to be tough for them to make it, but right now, I think these are valuable reps for your young quarterback. Down 17, open the offense up, allow them to run the 2-minute drill, and continue playing this game out.
Yeah, and running the football, they're averaging 3.9 yards at a attempt. I don't think that's the answer. I don't think you have to go.
Mariota pumps, tries to extend, and then a flag comes down as he is brought down by Mercilus.
Holding. Offense, number 67. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is 3rd down.
Well, in that last one, I was going to say, he doesn't have to go all the way down the field, big chunks, but he just got to dump it down underneath. He's got Dion Lewis right there. Instead, he holds it, and his offensive lineman get the holding penalty, but really that's on him. Marcus Mariota cannot take that. Dump it down, start chipping away at it.
3rd and 16. They do bring pressure as Mariota's able to escape, but needing 16 yards. He's just going to get out after 8.
I mean, it was a great disguise by Romeo Crennel and his defense. Kareem Jackson just comes off the left side of the screen, and Mariota and the offense just doesn't see him. They don't pick it up. He evades it. Probably should have been a holding penalty there.
But Jonnu Smith, he's got to protect there, the tight end, doesn't he, Poke? I mean, he's got to make that play.
He should. It should be nice eye contact, understanding where the blitzer comes from, but he just doesn't do it.
And there's Carter on the return as he's corralled at the 25. So here's Marcus Mariota on a night where he's got 2 touchdown passes. He's been without an incompletion, 17 of 17. It's only one quarterback in this Super Bowl era who lost a game completing 90% of his passes with at least this many attempts. It was Derek Carr. Happened week 2 this year against the Broncos, and you know the kind of season the Raiders are having.
Huh.
Well, you see that stat line, and then you look up at the scoreboard, 34-17. But then you look at the rush yards for Houston, 262. Houston has set a franchise rushing record tonight. Of course, it helps when you get 97 on one play from this guy right here. Lamar Miller, who is...
Well, Tess, every play is not measured the same. Some mean more than others, like these two. He's got a bootleg, trying to get outside. His line doesn't protect. He uses his legs. He plays his best in the big moments. And then the touchdown throw, another call. His guard pulls on the backside, gets him outside the pocket, and hits the veteran receiver. And there's something to be said for that. You know, Bill O'Brien talked about going through the process of drafting Deshaun Watson. He said he, visited with him at the combine, and he threw a lot at him.
Yeah.
He said he retained it, and then he said the thing that got him was when he brought him to Houston, how guys gravitated to him, the other guys in the college draft class.
Yeah, he said it was interesting when he came into the cafeteria to see that as he slides ahead here, as Kilgo was pursuing. Just see, but there's always that guy who walks in the room. And in that pre-draft process, Watson was that guy for them. They noticed it.
Well, he's got a huge personality. And anytime you're the quarterback, you're going to be the leader. People are going to gravitate towards you. And Bill O'Brien talked about when he was here on his pre-draft visit, some of the players that were already in the NFL just wanted to be around this guy. And that's when you know you have a guy that can lead your football team. He's a dynamic playmaker. He's a leader. He's a quarterback that wants to throw the football first and then run. That's why I think he's going to last.
Third and 3, and just easy pitch and catch that time to Carter for 15 yards.
Yeah, he went to Carter. You saw him on Sims. Good stem in, standing in the pocket. You guys were just talking about it. He has nice touch on the ball, and I experienced it with Dak Prescott. He wasn't as high as a pick as Deshaun Watson was, but he had a lot of success in college, and it was different. Tony went down. Dak never blinked, and guys did gravitate to him as a young player, and I think it says a lot about him because you don't see that in college players today. They don't come in with that type of confidence a lot of times, and Deshaun, just like Dak, he carries those traits.
As Blue takes it, and here are the Texans closing in on their 8th straight win after starting the year 0-3, and then you look at that schedule ahead. Browns, Colts going to be a critical game, right? Jets team that's at 3 wins. Eagles, they're trying to contend in the NFC East. And Jaguars, who are completely unraveling. They benched Blake Bortles today. They're going to go with Cody Kessler. They fired Nathaniel Hackett, who's been a fine offensive coordinator and a precocious one at that throughout his career. And the season that was to be for Jacksonville just never has been.
No, it hasn't. Doug Marone's got to be so frustrated. They've been bad.
As Blue gets to the edge. But why is that way? What in the world happened with Jacksonville?
Well, it starts with the quarterback, Blake Bortles. I think you allowed the result get away from what he truly is. When you look back, they had that incredible year. They go to the AFC Championship. But I don't think you can, lean on this guy to carry your franchise on offense. And, now they bench him because of their record. And really his stats are relatively close to what they were last year. And they made that decision. They allowed the results of the record get in the way of what they need to do with the quarterback position.
See Adoree Jackson is down there, takes the helmet off as they're looking at the lower part of the leg. Book, your read on Jacksonville this season and what went haywire there?
Jacksonville made a mistake in the offseason. They should have gotten rid of Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles had fool's gold in the playoffs last year. Nathaniel Hackett called a really good game, especially against New England, and he fooled them. I think if you're Jacksonville, you have all the young stars on defense. You have to go out and get yourselves a quarterback. You have a dynamic running back in Leonard Fournette. Your offensive line, you went out and you paid Norwell. He's one of the highest paid guards in football. Get yourself a signal caller that can lead your offense. It'll brighten up everyone on your team because that guy touches the ball every play and he'll give your team a chance. Blake Bortles is not the guy. Shame on Tom Coughlin in Jacksonville for allowing him to stay.
I mean, they're topping the list of most disappointing, but there's others on that list there. You sit there, you look at the Packers at 4-6-1 and, now 8-game road losing streak after going down to the Vikings. How's this going to finish up here with what's happening in Green Bay? And Aaron Rodgers going through that list last night saying, we can run the table. We can get this accomplished.
Well, you never would count Aaron Rodgers out. That goes without saying. He said to relax a few years ago. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Having said that, it doesn't look good up there. They haven't been on the same page. Mike McCarthy's, there's a lot of heat. The team has not played well. There was high expectations across the board. They've missed a lot this season.
And I think the relationship between Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers is something that the Green Bay Packer organization is going to have to pay attention to and decide, is it time for a change? Philadelphia decided that years ago with Andy Reid. Maybe they just need a new voice in Green Bay.
Third down and 1. after the injury timeout, and they'll get it to Griffin again. As Watson has had himself a night, hasn't he? And as we remind you that Sports Center with SVP will be coming up. We'll have complete post-game coverage. Book, you work a little overtime on that, don't you? And then the Sooners quarterback Kyler Murray is going to join Scotty. And, of course, the worst beats of the weekend. If you didn't get to see what happened with Oklahoma and West Virginia, I'm not sure what I was watching the other night, but I know that there wasn't defense invited to that party.
No, there wasn't. I mean, guys are just running free. I've never seen anything. You know, offensive coordinators, head coach, and they're fist pumping. I'm like, they didn't even cover them.
I mean, really, you know, listen, I know we had a wacky score last week on Monday Night Football with the Rams and the Chiefs, but there was defense played in that game. In fact, some spectacular moments of defense. There was coverage. There was good tackling. We had superb offense, obviously, and a high score. Boog, what you saw the other night with Oklahoma, nothing of the sort. Not even in the same conversation.
Not even close, Tess. I saw defensive guys not knowing where to fit. You know, our game, it was just high-level skill from an offensive standpoint. The Big 12, they haven't made a decision to play defense. They want to outscore you. That's the style of play they want. I get it. But at some point, if you want to win a national championship, you're going to have to play defense.
You know, we had a very interesting conversation as well with Romeo Crennel about those kind of players coming into the league and why we're seeing some trends in the NFL with some of the offensive stats as well. As we hit the 2-minute warning here, Houston, the streak closing in on it, continuing to 8 straight games. Big night for J.J. Watt with a sack and a half, as well as Deshaun Watson starring.
Let's go! Hey, Lamar, I know you ain't that tired, dog.
Watson hasn't been tired all night long, as he's got 2 touchdown passes, also has a career-high 71 rushing yards. By the way, the long run that he had, we talked to the league office about, was it a fumble, was it not a fumble? Remember, they retained possession. Alberto Riveron, who's the head of NFL officials, said, hey, the ball moves, but he didn't lose control. So there was movement, but he didn't lose control of the ball. Felt he had firm control, and there was contact on the ground, so they retained possession of the ball, and that call stood, and then they had the touchdown a couple plays later. This time Watson tried to keep his balance, but eventually taken down by Jarrell Casey.
You said Riveron's name pretty good there, Tess.
Well,
Alberto.
Proud of you, man.
You like rolling those R's, huh, Tess?
You got it there, Boog.
Tell you what I don't like. I don't like Deshaun Watson taking a hit there. I mean, the game is in hand. I get you want to convert to 3rd down, but your young quarterback, he's had lung issues, rib issues. Hey, run the football. Let's get him out of here. Let's move on to next week.
You know, but this football game, it goes back. And Mike Vrabel's first-year coach, we knew he was going to be aggressive. I played against him as a player. You know, he was like a coach on the field.
Right.
He's tough. He's everything you want. And a football player, and certainly he's going to be that as a football coach. But early in the year, he had a chance to go for the extra point. He decided to go for 2. And then he didn't get it. His team lost, and he did not apologize for that decision. And then again tonight, the 4th and 1. You know, to take the points or to go for it, you know, regardless, Luke Stocker, that's when they gave it to him and he didn't get it, that's when the game flipped. Momentum went to the Texans.
You know, keep in mind what's happened here in Houston in recent days with the passing of Bob McNair. And there is Cal, Bob McNair's son. The legendary Texans owner passed away at the age of 81 on Friday, and Cal's dealing with the day-to-day operations of the team. This is a family that has given so much to this community, bringing professional football back to the city in 2002. A couple Super Bowls have come here, and now a team with 8 straight wins after starting 0-3. Undoubtedly a win that Bob McNair would have been so proud of, and a team that plays with such spirit. We talked to a couple of the guys and said, listen, we weren't an 0-3 team, never felt like it, and they have proven that as well. Firkser with the catch there. And as for the Titans here, as they're going to go to 5-6, their remaining schedule sets up this way.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. You know, they're still in the hunt. Certainly it's going to be hard for them to win the division, but you look at it, down the stretch, the best record 6-5. Hey, they can get in this thing. Mike Vrabel's going to go back, I can assure you. you know, they're going to regroup, and he'll have his team ready to play down the stretch. But offensively, they got to get some firepower and stretch the field.
Yeah, you know, the Titans can only win and play one way. Sound defense, run the football, and allow Marcus Mariota to dink and dunk. They have to open this offense up, much like the Texans have done with Deshaun Watson. I would love to see the Titans do the same thing with Marcus Mariota because he's capable of handling it.
Coming up on the final minute here as he connects with Corey Davis.
Just a second ago, he had his first incompletion of the night.
Yeah.
You know, you think about them, but even Houston, I mean, you look at their schedule. You know, they only have one team with a winning record, and that's the Colts in their division. So sets up nice for them down the stretch.
You know, Mariota hit on his first 19 passes. He also hit on his last 6 against the Colts last week, so he had a stretch of 25 consecutive passes completed. Look at the extra work here as the ball comes out from Henry at the end of all of that. And it will be a turnover into the hands of the Texans. Aaron Colvin with the fumble recovery. See Scarlett punching it out. And Whitney Mercilus is still down at the end of this play. Veteran starting linebacker for Romeo Crennel's defense. Big night for Bill O'Brien. They're going to split the season series against the division rivals. His good buddy Mike Vrabel across the way got his first win against the guy he calls Billy. Yeah, great story of Bill O'Brien saying, listen, I was a quality control guy up in New England, come to work on the first day, and here's Mike Vrabel, first guy to say hello to me, welcome me. And now they will shake hands with a win for the Texans. And Houston is the first team in NFL history to go 8-3 after starting 0-3. We're going to be in Philly next week. Carson Wentz and the Eagles up against Adrian Peterson and the Redskins in that muddled NFC East. We ask you to stay tuned for the GMC post-game report on SportsCenter. For Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of your night, including time with SVP to preview what is coming up on SportsCenter. Here's Scotty.
Tess, thanks so much. Mystery guest from the Texans. We'll speak to one of the stars of the game from Houston. Plus, speaking of Houston, historic performance from the Rockets backcourt. Not enough against these suddenly resurgent Wizards. And Monday, well, you know what it means, bad beats. And as their name would imply, they were really bad. Awful, terrible, horrible things. Show starts in 3 minutes.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.